Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and welcome to the City of White Plains and the Gedney Way Recycling Facility. I'm joined here by the Mayor of the City of White Plains, Tom Roach, and we're going to introduce a number of other people in just a second to show you what cooperation looks like when different governments with common purpose can work with each other and help to advance things. We're here to talk about a great step forward that the City of White Plains is making in their recycling program that has benefited not only from the work that the county has done through our Department of Environmental Facility, but also from some of the work that's been done in other communities that really set us on the right path. Let me just introduce some of the other folks who are standing behind us. The Deputy County Executive for Westchester County, Ken Jenkins, is with us. We have also with us our Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Facilities, Vincent Kopicki. He's joined by Deputy Commissioner Melissa Rotini. And in a few seconds, the First Deputy Commissioner, Lou Vitrone, will speak on some of these topics. We're joined by our county's Director of Energy and Sustainability, Peter McCart. And then we have with us from the White Plains side, City Councilwoman Vicki Presser. Also, Jeremiah Fry Pearson, who is chair of the White Plains Sustainability Committee, and I think we have other members of the Sustainability Committee here, perhaps enough for an illegal meeting. And we're also joined by two friends from Scarsdale who have really been leaders across the municipal borders, not just here, but all across the county. Ron Schulhoff and Michelle Sterling, who've done an outstanding job in leading us in the right direction, and we thank them for their leadership and also their presence here today. As Mayor Roach will say in a couple of seconds, we view our role as a county government in some ways to do certain direct services that we're required to do as a regional, local government, and then to also be a partner to local governments, cities, towns, and villages on projects that involve joint activity or situations where we can do something on a test basis and then they can pick up from that and expand it. This city has been well managed for many years, and the mayor and the council can take great credit for the way White Plains has been managed, and they are looking to move forward, and that's what this effort is today. We're happy that Westchester County and some of the programs that we've done with Composting helps become a part of how that moving forward occurs. So let me next ask our Deputy Commissioner, let me ask the Mayor of the City of White Plains. We're his guest in this city, and we appreciate that our government is his guest in this city. Mayor of White Plains, Tom Roach. Tom?
Thank you, George. It's my pleasure to be with you here today. This is one of the days that's fun for me because this is where my heart is on the environmental side. In fact, this site is a great example of what we try and do here in White Plains. Before you leave, drive out to the back, you'll see our huge solar installation that we have back there on our ash dump, and also the composting we do here. Our leaves and organic yard waste, we compost here. And then as you pull in, as you drive in, you see these stalls that contain wood chips, topsoil, mulch, and that's all produced here from materials that we collect here in White Plains. And that's what put us in such a good spot to go ahead and do what we're doing back here, because mixing that compost in with the food waste has been a really important part of this process. So Scarsdale was leading the way in terms of the food scrap process. When we joined in, when the county started trucking it, because it needs to be, we couldn't do it on site at the time. We were looking into getting an anaerobic composter, the sealed composter, and it was complicated and expensive and would require staff. When the county offered the service where they were just going to pick it up and take it to an off-site, that's what got us into it. So we started our program here, and we've had good response from the public. But our people from DPW went out to Valhalla and met with the county people that are running the demonstration project out there. And now this is a relatively simple thing to put together, and it works. Behind us, you see this pile here, and that pile looked like that 8 weeks ago. So that's fast, because that's good-looking topsoil from, leaves and things like that. So someone did ask me, it looks like that's mostly leaves and sticks, but that's the food scraps are merged with it, and they actually help each other make this a better process. So we're excited about this. The only big change we're going to have is we're asking people not to use compostable bags, because the compostable bags are theoretically compostable and they will eventually deteriorate, but not that fast. And we kind of we don't want people to find bags inside their soil and think it's something else. But this is a great example as the county executive indicated, of working together as governments to make things better. And we're happy to be, I hope, a model for other communities to take this on, because when you come out here and look at it, it looks like we could do that. and that's the idea, you know. And eventually you'd love to see closed composting as something that can be done, but everything's a step. So one step at a time. And from what I understand, this actually reduces, not only does it accelerate the decomposition, but it also reduces the methane release, which is important because, you know, we're fighting on a lot of fronts with this, with our climate, and we need to do the best we can. So thank you to everyone who was involved, to Stefania Mignoni, our commissioner, to everyone from the county, and just a little shout out to Chris Robeson, who is the one who, you know, he gets, we have ideas, the ideas become concepts, and then they get handed to somebody, you figure it out. And that's, in this case, that was Chris. So thank you, everybody. It's an exciting day, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Mayor Tom Roach here from White Plains. He's absolutely correct about having those ideas. I can't tell you how many times I have, and my team goes, no, you can't do that. But we learn from our successes and our failures as well. Let me also acknowledge two other members of my team that are here. Our Director of Research for Westchester County, Ellen Hendricks, who's also a councilwoman in the town of Greenburgh, and Pete Lauren, who's with us here, also from our research department. So thank you for being here. Our Department of Environmental Facilities, pretty much along the same lines that Tom had just described with his contact, took on the opportunity to create this demonstration model over the Valhalla campus. And it was their knowledge of the business and their creativity that really created something that then became helpful to other communities. So I'd like to ask Lou Vitrone, who's our first Deputy Commissioner of DEF, to sort of explain the process. Lou, you got to dumb it down for most of us, if you don't mind.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to congratulate the City of White Plains and Mayor Roach and Deputy Commissioner Mignoni and Chris on this fantastic facility that they're announcing here today. I want to also thank the County Executive and Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins and, of course, Director of Operations Joan McDonald on their leadership and their commitment to not only food waste initiatives, but to the countless environmental initiatives that we've been able to launch over the last 6 years. I do want to also recognize from our department, Environmental Facilities, Vincent Kapicki, the commissioner, and Melissa Rotini, and of course I don't know where he is, he's here somewhere, our composting guru, Alex Yagewo. So this is so exciting for us in DEF because when we opened Composted, the facility that the county executive was talking about 2 years ago, this is exactly what we envisioned. One of the main goals of Composted was to demonstrate to the local municipalities that this is feasible to do in-house, that it is totally doable, and there is, like the mayor was saying, there is an even further greenhouse gas savings by doing it more local. The more local composting is done, the more efficient it is. But also, and this is going to be great because this is going to be a model for us to point to, it's also affordable and economical to do it closer to home as well. And, so we're really excited to be able to point to White Plains as the first and hopefully a long string of municipalities that are going to follow and start, taking up this program in-house. And our staff at Environmental Facilities, we're available, just like we did here, to assist any municipality in Westchester. Even if they're thinking about it, we can talk to them about, methods on how to compost. There are various different ways to do it, to scale it, small, large, and we can fit it into almost any footprint that they have. So our staff is standing by and willing to, and hoping to work with other communities throughout the county. In the meantime, though, we still do offer that program that others were speaking about earlier, the Residential Food Scrap Transportation and Disposal Program, RFSTED. Still trying to come up with a better acronym for that. But under that program, as the county executive was alluding to, and Mayor Roach, we will collect food scraps that are collected in any municipal drop-off food scrap program, and we will transport them to a compost center in Westchester County. So, that's, as the Mayor was saying, it's steps. That was the first step. The second step is to try to bring this closer to home if we can. So congratulations again. This facility is going to be a great model for everyone, and thank you.
Thank you, Lou Vitrone, Deputy Commissioner for our Department of Environmental Facility. Next, we'll call upon the White Plains Department of Public Works Commissioner Stefania Mignoni to talk about how her department has functioned. Chris Robeson is her Deputy Commissioner. And once again, we rely on the professionalism in all levels of government to really make our ideas become reality. Stefania.
Thank you. Good afternoon. When the DEF Deputy Commissioner Lou Vitrone and Assistant Commissioner Melissa Rotini first broached the subject of incorporating food waste into our composting operations, I was initially very hesitant because I was concerned about a few things. The smell of the food decomposing, animals and rodents infesting the piles of the decomposing food, and how labor-intensive this new process would be for our staff to take on here at the recycling facility. They assured me that those were all misconceptions and invited me, Deputy Commissioner Robeson and Deputy Commissioner Sarapanlai, to visit the Compost Ed facility in Valhalla to learn more about the process and have all our questions answered. There, we met with the county's program specialist for compost operations, Alex Jagiello. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Alex is a wealth of knowledge. He put those misconceptions behind us by explaining that if you incorporate the food waste with green and brown organic material and turn it well, there is no foul odor other than the aroma of compost, which is actually a somewhat pleasant, earthy smell, sort of. The composting process generates heat, so rodents and animals are deterred from going into it. And he reassured us that the labor was not as intensive as we had thought. In speaking with him, I appreciated his expertise in the field, which put my mind at ease enough to try a pilot program in setting up an ASP composting system. The setup for this is fairly simple: perforated pipe attached to a blower on a timer. We made a small investment in the purchase of a blower. The blower is just like the one you would find attached to a bouncy house, and a composting thermometer, which is used to ensure we are keeping the pile at the optimal temperatures for composting. The perforated pipes we had in our inventory. So our total investment in this program is just under $300. Deputy Commissioner Robeson ran this pilot program and worked closely with Alex in training our staff and making sure they were comfortable with the procedure and understood the science behind the process of aerated static pile composting. Vince Guda, our operator here at the Gedney Yard, embraced this new process and felt comfortable within a couple of weeks with incorporating this new step into our current composting program. I want to thank DEF for taking the time to educate and train us on the ASP process. We are now able to provide the residents of White Plains with nutrient-rich compost that will have their gardens flourishing. And just a reminder to all our residents, they can pick up compost along with wood chips, firewood, and topsoil at no charge here at the Gedney Recycling Yard. Thank you.
Well, we're very happy that we can all be here to share this moment. I think back as we close this off on a conversation that I had with Tom when he was a city councilman and I was a state assemblyman. We were both legislators in that day. And legislators, as Councilwoman Presser or Councilwoman Hendricks can point to, get the opportunity to advocate and vote for things, but they're not in a position of executive leadership to have responsibility. And we talked in that particular conversation about a particular issue, but both of us were a little frustrated because we didn't have the ability to make it happen. I had to go through a governor and he had to go through a mayor in order for certain things to happen. Well, things are a little different now, and we have the opportunity to do things from an executive standpoint. And what you realize is that it is not enough in government. It's not enough to just talk about an end goal that you'd like to see happen. You have to figure out with professionals how you're actually going to accomplish the end result. That's now the requirement that Tom and I face, but in a larger sense, that's what all of us face. And when I once heard in Mamaroneck, Ron and Michelle talk about an opportunity for something to move forward, I was a legislator in those days, didn't quite know how to put the pieces together until we now see that working with professionals, we can overcome the obstacles and we can create an end result. That's what's happened here today in White Plains. We have an end result. And I think if we believe that government has a future in this country, it isn't just from what we advocate, but what we accomplish. And if we're going to fight back climate change and the concerns that we have, it won't come just because we have hot rhetoric about it. It'll be because we figured out how to electrify the bus system and how we figured out how to get more products out of our waste system so we don't have to dispose of them in the traditional way. So today's a step in that direction. Mr. Mayor, congratulations. We look forward to partnering with you on more in the future. And thank you all for being with us here today.